In our last episode, we set up this little coal power plant, which is providing us with 300 megawatts of power to play around with, and we also set up this small steel works, providing us with these steel beams and steel pipes for our factory so that we can unlock more tiers. And whilst doing that, we also built this wonderful bus to take all the resources back to our base, including the raw quartz, which you can see here. So we're going to start off this episode with doing a little quartz factory to produce silicon, and the reason for it is so that we can start building with these glass windows, which just look nice. Ideally, we do want to unlock the new steel windows, but for that we're going to need a further 3 coupons, which we don't have at the moment. So first things first, we're going to build a quartz factory just here. And as much as I love this beautiful wildlife, it's gonna have to go. Also, that's a fantastic little addition in Update 6, the ability to stow our weapons or items as and when we choose by pressing H. But we're just gonna get rid of all of this and also this raw quartz. Perfect. This factory doesn't need to be particularly large, as we've only got 120 raw quartz available to us to use. So we're just going to extend this out a little here, and then we'll probably just get a couple of constructors running. Nothing too fancy at the moment, just so that we have the silicon available to us, or silica. It's silica, isn't it? Just make it really simple and easy at the moment. Just gonna extend this back. I do want to use a cavity wall, which we'll be talking, obviously I mentioned in the last episode. So we'll place a barrier down just here, and also one here, and we're going to replace these, and this is going to be the cavity wall where all the power is run for this factory. I think we might even try to make that on an angle. I think we could make this work. So we made a bit of progress with this box factory. You can see I've also unlocked the doors. I got the doors because I wanted a nice, clean way of entering a building. I think it's just one of those things for aesthetics. You don't need it, but it's nice to have. Also, the next thing that we're going to do is quickly just clean all of this up. So we're going to replace these with glass walls. I think that's gonna look a little bit better. And then if we go on the inside, you can see that I've already set up the cavity wall. If we get up here, you can see how we've got our double wall outlets planned one wall apart. So you'll see they're on the same point on each wall. And then we also have a doorway into this little corridor for all of our electrical cables, which I quite like. I quite like that it's a nice little tight utility corridor. Then the next thing that we need to do is build some of these, and I've chosen this as the entrance point for the factory. So we'll probably should I place these down here? So this should be in line, yeah. We can do that all the way along. We might need to extend these back further because I quite like that behind these. Otherwise we're going to have to like curve the line, which I don't really like doing. The other thing that I've done to make it a little bit cleaner is to have the steel pipes and the steel beams come out on the right hand side, and these will go straight into a storage unit just below me, and then this can just run across to there without having to cross those lines. To keep things straight, I did end up pushing everything forwards, and we've run a manifold across the top, which is then feeding down into the constructors. It's definitely a small factory, it's just producing enough. I think it's about 60 silica per minute, but that's enough for us to just get started with our major build of today, which is going to be the encased industrial beams factory, or maybe extending the power. I'm not too sure about that because that might be a big job. In order for us to unlock encased industrial beams, we do need to research the advanced steel production, which means we're going to have to collect some steel pipes, rotors, and wire, as well as a bit more concrete. So we'll be right back. Pipes, check. Rotors, check. We've got some concrete, and finally we need that wire. Perfect. Let's send it up. Typical. There we go. Fantastic. With us needing to produce encased industrial beams now, we're going to need a lot more steel than this, so we're going to build our own plant elsewhere. Thankfully, just in the east of the Dune Desert though, we have these 3 coal nodes as well as loads of iron surrounding them. So this is going to be a perfect spot for us. And we're going to fully utilize these nodes, so it should be quite a big build compared to what we've done so far. With this build potentially being quite big, I've decided to set up a tiny little concrete factory. I know, guys, don't shout at me. It's a bit spaghetti-o, but you know, it's just temporary, trust me. When it comes to building factories, there are 2 ways to really go around it. First of all, you can either build the foundations and then build the factory within it and try and make it all fit, or you can build the factory lines first on a small grid and then build the architecture around it. Let's go a little bit more. For this one, we're going to build the foundations first, and then we're going to try and build the factory within it. We want an elevator here, so I'm going to use these chunky supports and just tuck them into the side, and then we're going to bring this up to about here, and we're going to do the same here as well. There we go. I don't think that's wide enough, is it, for 3? Yeah, no, we need to go out further. My bad. Okay, there we go. I've got the spacing right this time. It's just slightly offset. And it creates this lovely little elevator. And we'll probably cover this in the glass walls once we've unlocked them. Oh, don't have the silica anyway to show you. And we'll probably bring the iron and the concrete up on this side. And we mustn't forget that I've also added some supports because I know you guys want that. The next thing for us is going to be to build just a wall. We can decorate this a little more later, so I'm not too concerned about how it looks. I think we'll have a nice little focal window at the front. And we're obviously going to be using the cavity walls once again, like so. And then after that, once I've covered the walls in, we're going to be adding some of these foundries. I also need to get some resources as well along here. So we'll have 2 lines of them. Let's get to it. And now we have our foundries, which are going to produce that steel. We have the coal that's going to come up on the right and the iron that will come up on the left. And we're going to balance these here. I say balance, we're just going to split the resources between these 2 evenly. I also really like this double manifold because it keeps it clean underneath, but it just looks so, I don't know, industrial. It's awesome. Once again, we're going to, should we do it there? Should we do it there? No, here. We're adding the little walkways so that we can go behind all of these. So we're going to have this barrier all the way along over to here, and this is going to give us the access from the other side as well. You can see that I've already run the cables a lot. Thought we were going to die then. All the way along, and they're also loading in, well, powering the foundries, or will be. We will do something here with the glass walls, but I need some steel beams for that. And here you can see our first balancer. The middle line splits between the 2 outer ones, which are both pure, if I remember rightly. And then they go up to the coal lines either side. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side for the iron. To give the outer wall a bit more depth, we've done the same cavity walls here, but you can see how we have the glass going further on the outer wall. And then this concrete border, I guess, on the inside, just to give it a little bit of depth when you're looking in and also when you're looking out. The next thing that we want to do is work out the outputs, and I think the best way for us to do this would be to get some mergers like so, and then we're just going to bring these up to the same height and run them as steel ingots all the way along the top, where they'll then be taken up to the next level. And the other thing that I want to do is probably there, we're going to have a layer above this and just build it into the walls. Actually, I think these need to come out a little bit more. Maybe like that. And then of course we're also thinking about it, going to have to place a power line so that these go across to the power line and then connect to the foundry. Let's see how we get on with it. I'm pretty happy how this is turning out, but we have just lost power, which means I do need to work on power plants. But we'll probably skip that for this episode. I'll do the power plant separately, and then you can see that as its own episode on its own, because it's going to be quite a big one. And here, just so that we cover the iron as well, you can see the iron has come in from the left. It's gone up to the next level and then split it into all those foundries along with the coal. So we're now ready for steel, providing we have power. Obviously, if you do want to see me building this coal power plant in the next episode, then make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And obviously, if you like the video, please do hit the like button. It really does help with the algorithm and gets my content out to more eyes. Things have come along slightly more than I had hoped because I forgot to make a save. I'm sorry, guys, but we're going to talk about what we've got here. Obviously, you can see that we've added a little bit of support in terms of the steel beams over here, as well as those the concrete pillars that we saw before. And in regards to the wall here, these are foundations with the walls over the top. That's just to give it a bit more depth and to kind of continue with this angle that we've got going, sliding upwards. But my favorite thing so far has to be the elevator. I think that looks great. And we also have a little walkway up to the top. Now, you already know basically what's gone on here. The only thing that's changed is I've now added the mergers all the way across for the steel ingots. So the steel ingots come across and then up to here. And then here we have just a basic manifold line with a walkway above. So nothing too fancy. We haven't connected it up yet. There are 6 of steel beams on each side, and also 6 of the pipes. So these 3 and these 3 as well. I don't know why I did this. I was trying to balance the lines below, and it's actually a bit of a frustrating point, really. But hey ho, we're going to live with it. All the resources are going to be taken up to the next level, and then we've got these cavity... Can I get up there? No! And so here you can see that we've got all of the resources that are going to come up through this little glass wall section. It's the cavity wall again for the power, but I also thought it would be really nice to actually see the resources behind them. So they're going to go up elevators to the next floor as well, where they will merge into storage units or be sent to the next floor to become encased industrial beams. And the other thing that I've done is added a bit more support on the bridge over there to the left to the other elevator. Yeah, I think we're going to use these elevators more because that just looks really clean and smart. Firstly, don't ask about the pink. That's everyone in stream's fault. It will be removed in a little bit, but as you can see, we have the resources going up. I really like this. I really like this style. And from here, we're going to take them up to the storage floor. So here we've already got the storage units placed, and which one? One of these is incorrect. The one next to it. Let me just remove these so I don't forget. But what you can see is that we have the balancing going on behind here, and then the resources are going to be taken up to the next floor to become, let me run up there, industrial beams in these 2 assemblers. And then the resources, we're going to have the concrete produced here will be taken down onto the storage floor again. Goodness me, this pink is so vibrant. But the resources will end up in these. So we'll have the steel beams, I think, then the concrete steel pipes, and then the encased industrial beams. And you'll see these are just going to perfectly line up. They will perfectly line up when I'm finished with them. And then everything else will be overflown to the storage so that we're going to be passively generating those coupons. I'm really rather happy with how this is turning out. It's a bit of a weird shape, I will give it that, and we are going to have to roof all of this. But I'm really liking the conveyors that we've got here, kind of encasing the concrete within them and also supporting them. Our little awesome sink feature. And then here, once I've unlocked the slanted walls, we're going to kind of slant this upwards so that we have this viewing wall and then close it all in. The only thing that I'm not too happy about is this line of concrete, which is silly really, because I had always planned for it to go up along this line and then totally forgotten about it. So we're actually going to connect the limestone, goodness me, all down the middle, and that's going to go up inside with the iron, but then it's going to run up through an elevator here to the very top floor. Also, apologies again for the pink. That was from stream and chat, as I mentioned. If you do want to join us and troll me in chat, you can do over on twitch.tv/TotalXclipse. We normally stream Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Mondays. This week's going to be a bit hectic because I'm going to TwitchCon, and I don't know whether I'll have time to stream when I normally do. And here we are, we've covered it all, and I am pretty happy with this, really. I think it looks better from this angle. I'm not too keen on it sideways on. Let me know what you think about it in the in the comments below. I wanted it all sloping upwards, but it looks a bit too long. But the important thing is the concrete, oh goodness me, the limestone, I always get that wrong, is going up into the factory the same way as the rest of the stuff. Really like this uniformed look for bringing items into the factory. And you can see the concrete's, the limestone is going up through an elevator to the top using those framed pillars. I feel this could be a wallpaper, just all of these shots. There's just something so satisfying with just seeing the items slowly going up and everything running efficiently. I also like how open the top is, and we even have a balcony for when we eventually work with some hypertubes. But that's all. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our TotalXclipse patrons, Cerebral Tag, James Irwin, Firefless, and Jerry2, as well as our Lunas, Dixie Chris, The Calamity, and Ben, as well as our Blood Moon of the day, which today is Papa Snoozy. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.